Fred, when we talk about offensive minds, it seems like inevitably we always think about like the passing game, right? It's what catches people's attention. But sometimes there are offensive minds that are better in the running game, and by all accounts, it seems like that's what Liam Cohen is going to come in really as his biggest calling card. The Bucs' run offense was last in the league 2 years ago. They were all the way up to fourth in his first year there, and so have you heard that about him, that he's especially creative and productive in the run game? Now, that bled over to Baker Mayfield production, too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Baker's done some amazing things, and if you can pass the ball efficiently and consistently, it's going to help the run game. If you put emphasis on the run game, obviously, blocking schemes, when to run it, all that different stuff, those numbers are going to improve as well as the defense getting you the ball back, giving you opportunities. So it's not just, one thing that improves the run game. You got to have some nice runners. Philly was running the ball well, and see what the Saquon effect. They've run it much, much better with Saquon. So, I mean, it's a combination of things, but you do want to try and put emphasis on it. But I can say this. I did my research on Liam, talked to Sean McVay, talked to Raheem Morris. Both guys are on the staff with Liam out in L.A. McVay obviously is a mastermind, offensive genius, guru, young quarterback, vet quarterback. Doesn't matter. He gets it done. He had high praise in regards to Liam, and also Coach Raheem Morris, who's a defensive-minded guy. Nothing but high praise for Liam. Loved his coaching style, loved his mindset, approach to the game. Says he's as smart as they come, and he has some swag. So I'll take that. And hopefully that translates to success for Jacksonville.
Fred, you're all around the league. You know talent. You've been on good teams. You've been on bad teams. You've seen good Jaguar teams. You've seen terrible Jaguar teams. Are you of the opinion that was a fresh set of eyes, a minor influx of talent, a new playbook, that this is a quick turnaround? Like Tony joined us last segment and said, look, there's no thought here that this is a rebuild, right? We ground running. How close are we to being a contending football team, in your opinion?
I mean, if you look at the roster, seems that you have the pieces in place. You've selected, in the first round, high in the first round for, well over a decade. You have some foundational pieces there. You went out and solidified your franchise quarterback of the future, with the monster deal that you gave him last year. And most times, when you look around the league, it's really the centerpiece, right? That makes like a woman, for example. She needs a Louis bag or a nice Hermes bag. That's
so does E.T., Fred. E.T. needs that also. Yeah.
I mean, so you have these moderate price outfits, but then you have your one big accessory piece. Now you look like a multimillionaire. And that's what most teams have. They have a lot of supporting cast, and they have their nice one big centerpiece, which is usually the franchise quarterback, and they kind of sprinkle other pieces around that one shiny dangling object. Trevor's going to have to lead this team to championship.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
It's no secret. Ain't no ways around it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that's every team.
A lot of it, 70% of it is going to have to be Trevor. And the Patrick Mahomes, all these teams that are pushing deep into the playoffs, look at the quarterback play.
Yeah.
It's not like the days of old where you have a Jim McMahon, defensively led Chicago Bears team that take you to a championship. Or what was that Bears team? Sexy Rexy, Rex Grossman. Mm-hmm. The numbers were subpar. Defense take you there. And that defense was lights out. And until you get that, the Ravens, same thing, Trent Dilfer, all that different stuff. You're going to need a collective effort, but the quarterback still is going to have to lead you there. In this day and age in football with the rules changes, Trevor's going to have to be that one determining factor that gets us there. I agree with Tony. It's not a rebuild. Mm-hmm. You have the pieces in place. You have to take chances. You got to get other pieces in place, bring guys in, and just shoot your shot. The Rams did it. When that year they went and got all those veteran guys, and they got a championship. And then they've done great through the draft with Les Snead, McVay, that front office. You got to also hit in the draft here and there. So I don't believe it's a rebuild. I believe that a fresh set of eyes, relinquishing Trent. Trent's a football guy. No mistake about it. The fans were tough on him because you're not winning. But Trent eats, sleep, crap football 24/7. You can't fault him for a lot of the play on the field because we've seen some bad play on the field, too, to go along with it. And I'm not advocating for Trent. Football is football. The business is the business. But I do know he is dedicated to making Jacksonville a successful organization. And hopefully the pieces that he brought can help with the incoming, whatever the decisions are in the front office in terms of scouting, drafting, all of that. Hopefully the pieces that are in place, along with the pieces in the hire, can lead to success for the Jaguars.
Well, you mentioned the quarterback play and what Trevor's going to have to do. Like, we just watched 4 great ones yesterday, right? I mean, we watched those guys. I mean, Mahomes, there's nothing to say. I mean, he's blowing by Brady. I mean, the accolades, there's nothing to say that you can say, and he's done it all. Josh Allen was fantastic in defeat and, scored a lot of points, didn't get it done. Jaden Daniels, what a bright future this kid's got. He was, he looked good and good for Jalen Hurts, who say what you want about him, but he's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. So, and he won when he was in college. I mean, the guy wins. So really fascinating mix of watching those 4 guys get after it yesterday and fight for their teams.
Oh, yeah, just an amazing set of championship game, high-quality football play across the board. I think it lived up to all the expectations. They asked me if I didn't want to see Kansas City Chiefs win when I was on Good Morning Football. I said, look, most of America, you would like to see some other teams out there going. I want to see Josh Allen in the championship, someday. But it's going to be tough because Patrick Mahomes, he's stingy. Man, he's so great. But more importantly, I wanted to see amazing football. I really didn't care who won it.
Right.
I didn't have a dog in the fight. I got what I wanted. 2 amazing games. You can't say anything bad about Josh Allen and his play. Flip it over to the NFC. Jalen Hurts, he doesn't have to do a ton. He manages the game. He doesn't put the team in bad situations. Because when we look at these championship or just playoff footballs in general, it's turnovers.
Yeah.
If you don't hurt your team, and not just the quarterback, but turnovers, then you're going to increase your chances and your odds to go on to the next week and play for a Super Bowl. And that's what he's done. That's what Patrick's done. Even Josh Allen did, like, no turnovers in that game. There were some fumbles, but none lost. It's just that the Chiefs found a to close that game out. The Eagles found a way, and now they're playing in the Super Bowl, man. It's the sport is back. The sport is amazing. I love it. I just love everything about it. But if your quarterback can put you in position to not lose the game, it gives you an increased opportunity to win those games.
You know what's amazing, too, and you listed those 4 great quarterbacks on display this weekend, and you know what? Who you didn't mention? You didn't mention Joe Burrow. You didn't mention Lamar Jackson. You didn't mention Brock Purdy or Justin Herbert. Or the point being, that's the challenge for Trevor and Liam Cohen. Beyond those 4, you got another 4 or 5 that have proven to be more than capable.
Chomping at the bit.
That also want to do the same thing.
Ryan Clark, RC tweeted, and it took a while for me to kind of comprehend it. Actually, when I went back to him, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. He said it's going to be a lot of gold jacket quarterbacks in this era without Super Bowl rings.
That's the truth.
He said AFC.
Yeah.
He said AFC, namely. And, man, you got to agree with that sentiment. But, Patrick, I don't know. And Andy, I had to Google Andy Reid's age yesterday just to make sure he won't be retiring anytime
He ain't
soon.
retiring.
He's going to beat the record.
He's going to ride that thing out.
He's going to beat the record.
Then you got Steve Spagnuolo, who's also a mastermind. He coaches his best in championship moments. And hopefully, man, just hopefully, for Jaguar fans around the entire globe, we have a new hire in here in Liam Cohen who can and it's putting the world on his shoulders, obviously. That's what we as fans do. We want it now. We don't have time for rebuild and all this other stuff. We want it now.
Yep.
Hopefully Liam is a quick fix, in the short term, but also that we can have him there for 10, 15 years. If that's the case, that means he's the right guy for the job because it's about consistency and longevity, championships.
All right, Fred, you got a big stretch coming up, too. We'll talk about that and more when we talk to you next week. As always, appreciate your perspective here on the Jaguars and the rest of the NFL.
Happy birthday,
happy
Fred.
birthday, my friend.
Absolutely.
Man, I appreciate the birthday shout-outs, man, and can't wait to the next one.
All right. See you, Freddie.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.